Hi guys, Stay-Patient here. Just want to bring you some tips and tricks on how to level up your monsters and hunters quickly in Evolve. Now, to check your progress towards the challenges, you go to your profile here and choose whichever class you want to check, and you can scroll across with the D-pad and it will take you to the challenges for all three of the medics. So there you go. For instance, there's Kyra's challenges. Now, as you can see, each challenge has 3 levels, and you need to complete level 1 of all 3 challenges before unlocking level 2, and the same again. If you complete all of level 2, you can then unlock level 3. Now, if you're in the middle of a game and you finish your last challenge for a certain level, that will immediately unlock the next challenge for you to begin working on during that game. So that's good to know. You can start working on the next challenge as soon as it's unlocked. You don't have to finish the game you're in first. But let's have a look. I'm going to first point out that it's very easy to boost this game. All you need to do is go to the multiplayer menu. Now, I will just mention that it's not worth boosting all of the challenges in this game by any means. Most of the challenges are just as quick to do solo, and of course if you're playing solo you don't have to stick around and help the rest of your team to get their challenges once they've helped you, so quite often it's quicker to do it on your own. But some of these challenges are very long-winded or very difficult, such as doing mid-air damage to hunters with your fire attack as the Goliath. So that would be much quicker to just have a team of your friends playing as the hunters. They can just be jumping up in the air in front of you and you can be breathing fire on them rather than waiting for the AI or the people you're playing with online to be in mid-air. Of course, it would take a long time to do legit. So to be able to boost, you would just invite all your friends to the game and then go to the custom game mode and set up your game here. And by now you probably all know that you can go into the extras menu and change the settings. Of course, if you're playing as the monster and you're attacking the hunters, you want to have infinite strikes so that they're not dying. They're just, if they do lose all their health, they'll just go into last stand and they can get revived. Now, of course, you want one person to be a medic and constantly healing everybody to speed up the boost and make sure no one dies. Now, if someone has Kyra unlocked, the level 3 challenge for Kyra involves healing multiple hunters, I think 900 times, so that's quite a lot. But of course, if you're doing this boosting method where the monster is constantly attacking the group of hunters, then if someone has the challenge unlocked as Kyra, then it's worthwhile for them to be the medic and they can start working on that challenge and you'll get it done very quickly in a boosting session like this. So it's nice to have more than one person working on something. Everyone else can be working on things like whether it's tagging the monster or dust tagging him or throwing stasis grenades at him. All these things that don't actually damage the monster, that's fine to do, of course. That doesn't slow down the monster's boosting session at all. But just keep it fair, everyone, of course. Make sure everyone gets to go as the monster if that's what you are boosting. Of course, you can change the setting here to either favour the monster or favour the hunter. Now, if the challenge you're working on as the monster is to do damage against the hunters, such as that mid-air fire damage one, then of course you would have favour monster to increase the damage you do. But if you're doing a challenge that involves hitting multiple hunters at the same time, but it doesn't matter how much damage you do, then of course you would choose favour hunters so that the hunters have more life and you're still getting your multiple hits in, but it's not damaging them quite so quickly and it makes the job easier for the medic. But as I said, I'm just going to go back to the main menu here. As I mentioned, it's not worth boosting everything in this game. Most of it is just as quick to do solo, so I'm going to give you some tips on how to go about doing that. Of course, you would set up a game using the custom game mode in the solo menu this time and do exactly the same. You would just choose whichever settings are going to benefit you. Now, the first tip I've got here is the fact that you need to read the description of the challenge very carefully. That's because when you're playing as the monster, some of the challenges require you to do damage against targets and some require damage against hunters. For instance, a challenge might say damage multiple targets with such and such ability. Now, if it just says targets, what that means is that you can damage animals, creatures, pretty much anything in the game that can take damage. That will count towards the challenge. Now, that works the same as for the hunters. If you're playing as a hunter and the challenge says to damage a target, then you can shoot the creatures. You can even shoot the eggs in nest, and that's a very good tip because the eggs have a lot of health in the nest mode. So if you start up a solo nest game, just run straight to the eggs and start unloading on them with your weapon. Then of course that will level up your weapons quickly. But if the challenge says damage the monster, then it has to be against the monster, of course. So just make sure you've read the challenge and you know exactly what's required of you, because sometimes people can just read one word wrong or miss a word and misunderstand what the challenge is actually asking them to do. The second tip I've got for you is that if you have any challenges that require reviving teammates, even though it says teammates, that also includes the survivors that need reviving in the rescue game mode. So if you do a rescue game, you can simply run straight to the survivors, revive them. Maybe you're playing as a medic, or maybe you're playing as Maggie, because of course Daisy needs to get some revives for some of her upgrades. You just run straight to the survivors, revive them, and that will count towards your total. It's much easier than waiting for your teammates to die and then hoping that you're the first one to get to them so you can revive them. You can simply play a few of these rescue game modes over and over and rack up your revives super quick. Now that takes me on nicely to point 3, because the challenge I referred to as Maggie, where Daisy has to get revives, the way it's worded is that you have to get 2 revives with Daisy in 30 games. Now what that means is you have to play 30 separate games and get 2 revives in each one. Now this is going to take a while, obviously, if you complete each game, but the tip I've got for you here is the fact that you can restart a game. You can just go to the pause menu and choose restart, and that will still keep your progress that you made during that game. Now this works for all challenges, but it's especially useful if you're having to do a certain action in a certain number of separate games. For instance, these revives. So what you would do is you would start a rescue game mode, make sure that Daisy gets 2 revives, and then as soon as she has done, just restart the game and do it again, rinse and repeat. And you'll get those 30 games nice and quick, a lot quicker than it would take if you were actually completing all 30 of those games. Now the fourth point I want to just mention is the fact that the defend game mode is very useful for almost all the challenges. Now here I am in the solo menu setting up a custom game, so you would go to map and mode and just choose defend there. Now I usually use the new Calico map, and this is a good game mode to use whether you're boosting or even if you're playing solo, because the way it works is the monster always starts at stage 3. So what that means is if you're playing as the hunter, you can do a lot more damage to the monster because he starts off with his maximum health. It also means because the map is smaller and because the monster's objective is to destroy your generators, it means that the monster doesn't run and hide and become difficult to find. You can pretty much find him straight away by running to the end of the map where he spawns and just start fighting him. So you're not wasting time, you're getting straight in there and doing a nice lot of damage immediately. Now if you're playing as the monster, again, you're stage 3 immediately, which means you can unlock all of your abilities to use during the game straight away. And it also means that you've got a nice lot of health, as we mentioned, so you can last longer, you can do a nice lot of damage to the hunters, but it's still a large enough map for you to be able to just fly away quickly or run away and get your armor back up if you need to. Now I will mention that if you still have to get the trophy that involves evolving to stage 3 as a monster 25 times, then of course you won't be working towards that trophy in this game mode because you start at stage 3. So I would recommend maybe getting that trophy out of the way in either hunt or rescue or nest, any of those 3. You can stage up to stage 3 as a monster, get that trophy out of the way, and then from then on I would simply just use defend over and over again. Now the final tip I have for you all is to use the app that can be downloaded off the App Store on your phone. Now the app's called Evolve Hunter's Quest, and really, if you follow the instructions on the app, the sort of tutorial at the beginning, you understand how to play it. But what you can do is earn things called mastery points, and these mastery points can be used to unlock 50% progress to any challenge. Now it costs 100 points to unlock level 1 of a challenge, 250 for level 2 and 500 for level 3. Now the only downside is that even if you have completed level 1 and 2 of a challenge and you only want to unlock level 3, you still have to buy level 1 and 2 to be able to buy the third level in the app. So it basically costs 850 points to unlock a all 3 levels of a challenge up to 50%. So it automatically completes 50% of that challenge for you. Now it would all make more sense, if you just download the app, which is free, and start playing it. It will make a lot more sense to you once you've seen how it works. But it's super helpful, especially if you're just starting the game now. If you pardon me, if you start using the app nice and early, get a lot of progress done for free basically by just spending those points in the app, then that means when you do come to play the game and you're trying to work on these challenges, you only have to do 50% of those challenges that you've bought, and you can buy as many of these challenges as you like. So you can have every single challenge in the game apart from the monster ones, which you cannot buy. It's only the hunter ones that work, but you can have all the hunter challenges up to 50% without even playing the game once. So that's super useful, especially for the long-winded challenges, and it really cuts down on either boosting time or just play time if you're playing solo. So just to recap guys, don't forget to read the description well so you know what you're working on. If you need to get revives, then use the rescue game mode. Don't forget that you can restart games if you want to sort of do an action over and over again in separate games. You can restart and it still counts your progress. Use the defend game mode if you're just doing damage against either the hunters or the monster, and then download the app as well and start working on that. It doesn't take a lot of time to get the points required to buy a challenge, so that's very useful. So I hope these little tips and bits and pieces have been useful to you guys. I apologise for the amateur nature of my video. I'm quite new to YouTube, but I hope it helped you. And don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my other links in my video description. But for now, enjoy the game and good luck working towards your platinum. Thanks again. Bye.